Gosh, I'm awestruck with such an amazingly distinguished panel that it's my privilege to moderate and to be here in this incredible space that it has been such a blessing to be a part of this week. And I'd like to sort of add to the applause to Osley Brown and to the mayor and Sarah Reed Harris and her incredible team who have made us feel so comfortable, at ease, at home, and engaged. I think this has been a precious, sacred space. I'm also here because my teacher and guru, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, has been a great admirer of the work that the Center for Living Faiths and Osley and the team have been doing here in Louisville. And so I'm blessed twice over to read a message from him. I would like to convey my best wishes to everyone participating in this year's Festival of Faiths in Louisville, Kentucky. It is appropriate that the organizers, the Center for Interfaith Relations, draw their inspiration from Kentucky's adopted son, Thomas Merton. I was privileged to meet and learn from him. In fact, it was he who first sparked my appreciation of Christianity. 3 years ago, I remember having the opportunity to speak about engaging compassion in conjunction with the same Festival of Faiths. I was also happy to learn that the Louisville mayor, Greg Fisher, and where is he? And an applause for him too. That the mayor had signed a resolution adopting the International Charter for Compassion, making Louisville the largest city in America to take such an action, certainly at that time. I understand that for the 4th year in a row, the Charter for Compassion International has named Louisville its model compassionate city. This is very encouraging. I consider nonviolence to be compassion in action. It is not a mere absence of violence. It is something more positive and more meaningful than that. Some people seem to think that compassion is just a passive emotional response rather than a rational stimulus to action. But to experience genuine compassion is to develop a feeling of closeness to others, as Mahatma Gandhi did, combined with a sense of responsibility for their welfare. His great achievement was to show that through his own example, that nonviolence can be implemented effectively, not only in the political arena, but also in our day-to-day lives. Nonviolent action, when confronted with grave injustice, provocation, and violence, needs a strong will and a determination based on compassion and an awareness of the larger context. In today's interdependent world, since violence inevitably provokes further violence with unpredictable consequences, we need to begin with inner disarmament. The 20th century was a time when many people thought that violence was the way to solve our problems. Although their motivation was often positive and good, the method, the use of force, was wrong, because invariably violence creates more problems than it solves. We should aim instead to create a demilitarized world, a peaceful world based on dialogue. This would be a realistic aspiration for the 21st century. The disturbing emotion that most often gives rise to violence is anger. A wise and experienced American psychologist, Aaron Beck, told me he had concluded that when people were angry, although the object of our anger appears to be completely negative, 90% of that negativity is in fact our own projection. This is an example of how we tend to rely on appearances rather than reality. Neither prayer nor quiet meditation alone will defeat anger. What we do need is to analyze whether anger is of any value. Negative emotions are our enemies. Foremost amongst them is ignorance. In order to see reality, we must look at things objectively with a calm mind. We also need to cultivate warm-heartedness, for this is the basis on which we can make the world a happier, more peaceful place. And the first beneficiaries of such a strengthening of inner values will no doubt be ourselves. The time has come to begin a systemic effort to encourage more among the 7 billion human beings to be kind-hearted, whether they are followers of religion or not. As children, we naturally receive tremendous love and affection from our mothers. We can cultivate this natural seed of affection to become warm-hearted, not only towards our close friends and relatives, but to all sentient beings. We need to remember that instead, as human beings, we are all fundamentally the same. And to be fully inclusive, we need to take a secular approach, secular in the sense that it is used in India to mean an unbiased respect for all religions and faiths, and even the values of those who have none. We can change humanity by changing ourselves as individuals. By cultivating inner values, we can change our own lives and those of our families. This is how we can create a happier and more peaceful world. Today, because the capacity for human destruction is so immense, because the threat to the environment is so great, people are developing a greater understanding of the importance of adopting nonviolence and compassion. I offer my prayers and good wishes for the success of the festival, and my hopes that your discussions on the pathways to nonviolence has been fruitful. I look forward to hearing what practical steps you recommend for putting your conclusions into this effect. I think it's significant that His Holiness has concluded his message with the aspiration that Rausley and Sarah have articulated for this morning's session. How can we take the discourse of the preceding days that has deepened our understanding of the issues and predicaments that we confront in relating and dealing with violence, and look for concrete ideas that will take forward our aspirations to make them a reality.